Everybody set? Ready? Okay. Don't have much of an opening statement for you today. The only player that for sure is going to be absent for illness reasons is Curtis Jacobs. He's sick today. Everything else is pretty much status quo. Nothing much changed from last week. So we'll keep pressing forward. With that, go ahead.
Maybe going to be out there?
He's here. Again, we're just being smart, managing him at 35 years old and just getting here for this last half of the offseason program. So just take it slow with him. Don't need to see a lot of Zeitler at the moment. He's pretty proven at this point in his career. So more just about being smart than anything else. But he's here. He's participating. He's around. He's in meetings, and he's with us, part of the team.
How big of an asset is a guy like that in the meeting?
It's a guy that's played as much football as he's played. The experiences he's had, a lot of different systems to a couple different teams. He's a pro's pro, and his ability to communicate with those guys and be a voice of perspective is always really helpful. So having and the caliber of player that he is, even at his age, the way he takes care of himself, the things he does to get ready to play is an example you want guys to follow. He's phenomenal when it comes to taking care of himself. He's very regimented. He's really an asset for all of our younger players, in particular guys up front. It's good to have him here.
I don't think had a run game coordinator last year. I don't think. Am I correct in that?
On defense?
Yeah.
No, we did not.
So what made you want to add that position in particular? What do you think, Travis?
Yeah, Travis is really a unique coach for us, and the guy that I'm really happy that we have here. He's been a D-line coach in the league. He's done a really nice job with the places he's been. He's been under some really good coaches in his career. He's just in a good perspective for us to have a different set of views as far as the run game goes and the front in general. We're doing a lot more of the front work together this year with the interior and the outside linebackers, which has, I think, been really beneficial. And Travis is a really unique voice and perspective who's got a lot of experience, works really well with Rock and with Ben, just sort of fortified that position for us, just another set of eyes, experiences, and coaching ability that I think can really elevate us. And so far, I've been really pleased with how those guys have worked, what they've done together, and the strides that we made over the course of OTAs.
Pretty important role, I guess, given run D was at times a struggle for you.
Yeah, we definitely have to be better there, and that's one of the things we went after, was trying to find how do we get the most out of our front, and how do we put ourselves in better position than we did. And those guys, again, working together is part of it, and adding another perspective, another voice, some different experience, I think, was another part. So really feel great about Travis's addition, and again, also with Tony Oden coming in as well, just a different way of doing things that I think is really added to that staff.
Some of the so much turnover at the receiver position, how are you going about evaluating the guys and figuring out where you're going to slide them in, X, Z, slot, so
we have a pretty good feel for where we think they naturally fit, and then we're putting guys in positions to see what they can handle as far as volume goes, as far as position movement goes. How much can guys move? This is a bit of a learning period for us, especially about our a lot of new players, a lot of young players at the position. So we're just trying to find out where they best fit. We have some pretty good ideas of what we think they're capable of doing, but we're sort of pushing them and testing them on those limits and where we can use them and how we can use them. But so far, been happy with that group and where they've progressed to. There's some good, fun, young, talented players that kind of learning every day, and then we're trying to integrate the veteran guys that this might be just a bit different for them than normal, than what they're used to. So they're all learning, but it's been a good process.
So much cross training. There's so much cross training that you have. Having the guys know multiple. Do you feel like the league or you are kind of going away from having a dedicated slot guy?
There's definitely a route tree inside that takes a particular skill set to do. There's teams I think you're finding more and more have more of slot receivers because formations are condensed, and so a lot of things are inside the numbers, and you're kind of working with like 2 or 3 different versions of slot players. I think the Rams are a good example of that style of offense. But there's a lot of different ways you can use players, and there's a lot of different body types that you can use inside. But there is a certain skill set you have to have. There's a recognition you have to have and a feel, because everything inside is different than it is just going one-on-one with a corner or just being able to see a corner and a safety. That part is a lot more.
And it takes a certain aspect, I guess, to produce game-changing plays on special teams.
Mm-hmm.
When you look for returners, what kind of skills are you wanting to see? That a guy can do more than just catch the ball and get it back to the offense.
Yeah, that's the first thing. And an underrated aspect of it is you got to be able to secure the catch, both in the punt and the kickoff game. But then what can they do with the ball in their hands? What ability do they have to make yardage, to make people miss? There's an element of fearlessness that comes with particularly the punt return spot that you got to be able to just put your foot down and get vertical and run as fast as you can with the coverage teams bearing down on you. There's a mental makeup of those positions that you're looking for. And then just obviously speed is the other one, is that when they get a crease, can they get into it, and can they make a 10-yard return turn into a 40-yard return with just their pure ability. So that's all a part of the process of trying to evaluate it.
How hard is it to find a guy who's special in that regard? It's been a long time since this team's had somebody like that.
Yeah, I would say there's a lot of really good returners. I think special is hard to find. There's good returners out there, but the ones that, the guys that can really break a game open, there's not a lot of those, I think, in short order. I mean, there's only a couple maybe. But you're trying to find guys that can be at least even effective and try to get more than, what's being blocked. Is you're looking for a little bit of creation and ability with the ball in their hand outside of the structure. Or once everything has been blocked up, what are we doing after it? Are we getting just what's blocked, or are we be able to make a play and make somebody miss, which inevitably is always what you have to do to create explosives. So, got some guys that have done it. Got some guys that we're trying, and we'll see where we end up.
Is Traylon a little bit big or heavy?
Right now, I think anybody coming off a significant surgery and rehab is always going to be probably off their full playing weight, just because of the nature of not being able to do the types of things over a long period of time when you're rehabbing. So he's in his rehab process. The conditioning part is sort of coming along with it. I don't see any ill effects, but again, Trey's also he's just a bigger body as it is. So I'm pretty pleased with where he's at, and we'll see as he gets back to more consistent running and ability to get in shape. And he reported to camp last year in pretty dang good shape, so I'm expecting the same.
How would you quantify the growth from year 1 into year 2 for Chandra Sweat?
I think it's the details of the position. He's a supremely talented person. There's not a lot of people on the planet that can do what he does at his size. And it's more about the consistency of performance. Would like to see more from the pass rush game. He's got ability to rush for a man his size, and that's part of the point of emphasis for him is affecting the quarterback more. He's a tremendous run defender. That was a strength of his already from last year, and the part of it's going to be just improving the detail and then improving the ability to help affect the quarterback. So I think those are the things we're looking for progression-wise from him. And he has the ability to be a full 3-down player. He's not necessarily your explosive interior pass rushers that are out there, but he's got great ability to push the pocket too. So looking for more of that from him. And I think he had a solid start to his career, and I think there's a whole lot more meat on that bone for him.
Encouraging things you've seen from Cam, maybe from the first OTA to what is this, number 5 today?
Yeah. It's just the recognition part, understanding what's being thrown at him from a defensive perspective. The protection game is always really important, so you're getting reps at that. Today's a big 3rd down day, so he'll see lots of different pressures, understanding where your answers are. Those things have progressed. Happy with that process so far. And then he's seeing different types of space and field defense that throws that maybe he might have made in college that don't show up in the NFL the same way, and he's learning from those. I think it's been great. He's had a lot of learning that has occurred from just the act of doing, and things that he's maybe used to doing that are different at this level. And that's always for young quarterbacks the case. It's always going to feel different. So pleased with where he's at. He's picking it up pretty quickly as far as the mental part goes, and we're learning every day he's out here.
Him that's so singularly in the morning and you're having to kick him out of the building. How do you manage that, and are you ever worried about a guy pacing himself?
Yeah, I've had that conversation. You know, there's everybody always starts out of the gate pretty hot, you know. But you start to get in the actual routine and you understand how long of a season it is and the marathon that it is for young players from the time they finish their college season to the time they finish an NFL season. I've made that point. Just, again, I'm not telling him what to do. I'm just making the point that there's a lot ahead of him that he's not aware of yet when it comes to the length and the week to week grind that comes up for these guys, and it is a marathon. I mean, this is a long run for these young players, and all of them have to have the same sort of mindset that you're trying to get better every day and trying to put the work in that's required. But there's also that element of this is going to go all the way into January every day for the next however many months, and there is a bit of pace that's probably required. So they learn, they figure it out, but you try to help them and give them advice and point it out when you can. But I have no problem with guys trying to get the work in.
He wasn't really ending up with checkdowns the day we saw him the other day. Does that say anything about him, that he's able to find stuff, or is there going to come a point where you want him to be quote unquote settling?
Yeah, there's a balance for sure. One of the things that's good about these practice settings too is we do encourage those guys to try throws, and particularly for Cam, new scheme, new concepts, maybe footwork's different, coverage structures are more varied, and there's different things that show up. So try things out is sort of the message that we tell all those guys. And you want to try an aggressive throw, try it out. We're going to point out where and when it could be better. Here's your other alternative, but this time of year is for finding out what you can get away with. And there also is a time that you got to understand that we're trying to move the ball forward and we can't take the negative plays, and you don't want to take sacks and you don't want to turn the ball over. So how can you best protect the ball and protect yourself? Those are all sort of the ongoing conversations, but certainly encourage guys in practice to be aggressive and try throws that so they can see what it feels like.
When you have somebody with his kind of confidence coming in, is it tough to tell when something's clicking for him since the confidence was already baseline, or can you kind of see a difference in?
No, you can see. He asks really good questions. He understands when he makes a mistake, which they all make plenty, and we have the conversations about it. He's got a humility about him, so he knows when it's time to step back and try to get better and see where he can do things differently. And then there's the moment when the moment comes when he's like, I'm going to make this throw, and he makes it. So there's a balance, but he understands when it's time to learn and when to take a step back from the confidence part of it and where can he improve, and that part's been good to see.
Most of the evaluation.
I'll come.
Okay.
1, 2.
Third downs were a struggle for the offense last year. Focus out there today. What do you hope to see knowing it's still OTAs?
The hard part about third down in the league is that everyone knows you got to throw it. So there's a pass rush component. There's a pressure, blitz package component that we got to be on top of in terms of assignments. It's great going against Denard's defense because they got every pressure and every look that you could want. So we get plenty of exposure to all those things. So it's an assignment oriented in the protection. And then it's just the execution of the passing game is really what third down's all about is they know you got to pass. We know we're going to pass. You usually have a pretty good idea of what style of defense you're going to face on third downs, and then can you go execute? And that's a huge part of it is the execution of the actual concepts in the passing game tied in with the protection part. So it's our first time really seeing the amount of volume we'll see on third down today, but I'm excited for it.
In terms of when Cam was coming out, a lot of people said he was very good at using the middle of the field between the hashes and gets a lot of his completions there. How does that change how you approach things when you've got a guy like that versus a guy maybe who is better outside the hashes or over the top?
Really, for the most part, we have all the elements of the interior passing game. It's really where you can make the most hay in the league. It's where a lot of the production is across the league and all teams. You have to have the ability to push the ball outside the numbers and go win one-on-one and down the field. But that intermediate passing game, I think, is one of Cam's strengths, but it's also a system that I'm really familiar with as well in terms of trying to use all the elements of our offense to work that area of the field. So it's a good mix with a strength to his and something that I've done a lot of over the years. But you got to be able to do all of it in the NFL. But I'd say you see much more interior passing game across the league, probably now maybe more than ever. So it's a focus for really everybody. Yeah.
Thanks, Brian.
you.
Got you.